Greetings. How are you guys doing? I hope that you guys are having a great Saturday or Sunday, no matter where you're located in the world. I'm hailing from Nigeria, and I spent the greater part of this morning just kind of thinking and meditating on something, and actually, it just kind of grieved me. For years, I've heard a lot of my people, a lot of people, African Americans, some people call themselves ADOs, blacks, whatever. There's no politically correct terminology to define who we are as a people. I've heard people for years argue about African Americans who are indigenous to the Americas, more specifically North America, the United States of America. And, it didn't really matter to me. It wasn't really something that I really thought to really argue about and make a point about, because my mom always claimed that we had Native American roots. My great-grandmother, I believe, was supposed to be a full-blood Cherokee Indian. And my name, Winona, is actually Sioux Indian for firstborn daughter. So I just, because that's what I was told, that's what I digested and accepted as a part of who I am. However, the older I've gotten and the more I've done my own research and continue to do research, because it's a journey for people with melanin in their skin to find out, people who have melanin in their skin, who was raised most of their lives and or born off of African soil. It is a really big challenge for us to know who we are, who our tribe is, and where our people is. A lot of us, we just kind of adopt somebody, or somebody may adopt us. Some countries here on the continent grant citizenship to people who could prove their lineage and their heritage in such countries as Ghana, Sierra Leone. But there are some countries that don't, that are not as helpful in helping you to determine your heritage, such as Nigeria. I will be honest with you. They're not very helpful here. You have to come with proof and money, basically. Because even if you have the proof, then you got to kind of line their pockets with money to make things slide in just a little bit easier, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I say all that to say this. I don't understand, and it grieves me, why so many people from America with melanin in their skin will get mad. They will fight you. They will argue and debate you, and they will be highly offended if you even imply that they have roots from Africa. If you say you're from the motherland, prove it. I'm not from Africa. I'm from Philly. I'm from New Orleans. I'm from Compton. I'm from Oakland. You hear it all the time. And I was like, certainly people really are not that self-hating that they actually have this argument and debate, right? Sure enough, I didn't realize how steep and heavy the debate can get until I actually went on my journey and started my journey in finding out who I am. Okay? And there are some so-called black people that will be jealous of us being here. They will think that you're crazy. I have family and friends that think I'm crazy, praying and fasting that I'll come back to America. And, I had a DNA test done here on the continent. couldn't get one in America. It's a long story, but everything happens for a reason. And the DNA test that was done here proved that I have 30% Nigerian DNA in me. I also have some Saudi Arabian in me. Yes, I do. And the rest of it is West Africa. So I didn't see anything. And then the rest of it is 1%, very small percentages of different various countries. None of them being Native American, by the way. None of them being Native American. None of them originating on the Americas at all. So I have no DNA ancestral roots on the Americas. And I'm okay with that. I'm actually elated. I was elated to get the results. Now I am going to find out and fine-tune the results, perhaps do more research and study to find out exactly where my tribe is. I'm going to find that out. But I say all that to say there are people who hate the very idea that there are so-called black people that will nurture and embrace and disclose openly, publicly, that we come from the motherland. And they will fight you. They'll be like, well, I'm not from the motherland. I'm not from Africa. I saw this video where a young lady did a DNA test. She had been told that, her ancestry was Indian. And it's a young lady, 20s, 30s. She did a DNA test. She found out she was 50% Nigerian. She called her grandmother. She FaceTimed her grandmother and told her grandmother, who all her life, we're not African. We're Indian. We're Indian. We're Indian. She called the grandma and she disclosed the results to the grandma. And the grandma said, I'm not from Africa. She got mad. I'm not from Africa. That test lied. I'm not from Africa. Well, sorry about that. As I was saying, I don't know if you guys can hear me. The grandmother saw the video from the granddaughter proving that they had 50% Nigerian heritage. And the grandmother was vehemently angry and denied the DNA. Can you imagine? I mean, she was like insulted because the DNA test implied that there was Nigerian heritage in their DNA. And I didn't even understand why that was the case. Like, why would you not be proud of your African heritage? And this is an older lady. And I'm gonna tell you, just because somebody's older or maybe with the ancestors don't mean that they didn't lie and told us big, tall fables about who we are and where we come from. Just because they have some sort of innate hatred or repulsion about their own heritage, about being associated with Africa. And I don't understand that at all. I don't agree with that at all. I think it's reprehensible, it's deplorable, it's nauseating, and it makes me very sad. What is the big deal? We come from Africa. We come from the motherland. What is the problem? We could talk about stories and whatever, but the DNA doesn't lie. They use DNA tests to solve decade-old criminal cases that have been unsolved. But they take one DNA test. They take a swab of a DNA from a corpse and they line it up and they're able to determine and find out who committed a crime based upon DNA results. So if DNA test results can prove paternity, maternity, ancestry, and they can solve crimes, how reliable is it? It's very reliable. So I don't understand why people have a problem with just taking a DNA test. If you don't think you're from the motherland, then prove it to yourself, to your children and your grandchildren. Don't you deserve to know the truth? take a DNA test and find out where you come from. Find out if your DNA, if you have DNA roots, Native American DNA roots. If they trace you back to the Africans, if there was a migration pattern in the Americas prior to the 1400s and 1300s, then it will solve all of the mystery and all of the argument will be dissipated, right? Why do you hate your heritage? I'm proud to admit my heritage. I'm proud to find out that I'm from the motherland. Shouldn't you be?